Hello, everybody, and welcome to my new podcast, AirHair Talks About Stuff, where I, AirHair, will be talking about something. I don't know what yet. As you can see, this is the first episode of my podcast, and I just want to give, a welcome, just a classic old welcome. So if you don't know me, I am a content creator. I make content on YouTube and Twitch. And I've been starting doing stuff on TikTok. I kind of want to talk about that as well. But I have Twitter. And all the basic stuff except like Instagram. I need to get started on Instagram and whatnot. I gotta be hip with my my generation. I gotta get on Instagram and stuff. Which I don't know. In all honesty, I don't really have that big of like a need to be on Instagram. I don't like pictures of myself. I just, I'm iffy on social media as well. It's just like, for me. Like, Twitter is gross most of the time. And then, Twitch and YouTube are fine sometimes, I guess. But I just really, I don't have a need to be on, like, Instagram, like, publicly at least. So, I don't know. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about TikTok. Like I said. So I started making TikTok videos. And I don't know, it's fun, because it's basically like making Vines. I wasn't really around, like, internet-wise when Vine, even when it shut down, I wasn't really on the internet that much. But now I kind of have the ability to do that with my, my phone. And I've started making TikToks. They're not, that popular. I think one of them has like 50 views, which is kind of cool, I'll be honest. But I've started making, TikToks. I actually really like making TikToks, honestly. Like, I actually like it a lot more than I thought I would. So I'm gonna be trying to, I gotta get the big brain funnies, I gotta be funny on TikTok to get the views. But I like making content for TikTok. But anyway, besides that, what I wanted to talk about today, I want to talk about my motivations, if that makes sense. I want to talk about what got me, interested in content creation in the first place. And in all honesty, I would start with the biggest inspiration, which I think was Dan TDM, and I think, don't, like, quote me on this, I think Dan TDM was probably the biggest inspiration for kids that grew up on the internet. Like, I wasn't on the internet that much, but I was on the internet enough to watch Dan TDM probably every day, and, I watched him every day. I probably rewatched all of his videos at least like twice every day. I would watch, his best of montage, his mod reviews. Like, I was, before the term stan was like, mainstream and whatnot, I was a Dan TDM stan. I probably would have no, I did technically. I had Dan TDM art as my Steam profile picture, and that is not a joke. Before I became a content creator, like, online, it was literally a picture. It was Dan TDM fan art, and I'm not ashamed of that. It was good fan art, and I really liked it, and I set it as my Steam profile, and that's basically it. But what I was saying now, Dan TDM inspired me to be a content creator. I always thought that he was funny, and I always wanted to make content that was funny for people. And even though my content is not that funny, or funny at all for that matter, I still want to make that kind of content for people. I want people to smile when they watch my content and whatnot. But yeah. Who else other than Dan TDM, though? I would say, I mean, I don't even know, honestly. Who else did I watch? I started watching Jacksepticeye. I think Jacksepticeye was probably another, like, you know, tiny inspiration for me. I would say, when did I start watching him? I would say probably 2017 or so. I started, like, watching him a lot. Like, I skimmed his videos maybe a few years earlier. And keep in mind, I was like a literal child at this point. And I didn't like swearing and whatnot. I still, honestly, I don't like swearing that much. And that's why I don't, like, I try and keep swearing out of, my online presence and whatnot. Like, maybe I'll accidentally slip up in DMs. Well, not slip up. Like, I don't like swearing, but, whatever. Let's get away from that. So I started watching Jacksepticeye in 2017 or so. And, I would say he's probably a lot funnier than Dan. Well, not a lot funnier. I would say he's funnier than Dan TDM, just because I feel like Dan TDM is, like, especially his YouTube channel is definitely centered around kids, and kids have, like, a certain style of humor and whatnot, and Jack, was always made, like, for adult humor and whatnot. So I started watching him in 2017. I found him really funny, and, I've watched him ever since, and he's really cool and awesome and whatnot. I want to be cool and awesome. I got inspired to be cool and awesome on the internet. So thanks, Badicey. Thanks, Dan TDM. And yeah. Hang on. Can I just... Okay, I wanted to check and make sure I was recording my microphone and whatnot. But who else, like, inspired... I really don't know who inspired me besides Dan TDM. Because Dan TDM was, like, my favorite creator. Like, I even went to go see him on tour back in... I think 2017 as well. I went to go see him on tour. I did the meet and greet, and on our ticket it said meet and freet. And I don't know what freet means. I hope that's not anything bad. I think it was just a misprint. But we met and we is that the word? We greeted. And it was really awkward because I was a child and I had anxiety. I still have a lot of anxiety. And yeah, so anyway, I'm sorry I keep pointing at the camera. But yeah, so I saw him on tour. His tour show was awesome, by the way. I still haven't really seen, because he had one last year, I believe. He had another tour show, but it was basically just online, I think. And I mean, that was pretty cool too. I think I watched, like, the live show of it. But I, like, physically went to his first show, which was very nice, very cool. I have some, actually, let me go get my, my Dan TDM merch real quick. Alright, so, let me get my earbud real quick. So this is one piece of merchandise I have. I don't actually know where all of my merchandise is. I don't actually know off the top of my head how much I have. But this one is probably one of the biggest items. It's, the normal TDM on tour hat. And, get this, it's signed by Dan TDM. Which I think is very cool. And that's why I keep it hung up. The other one's bad. I keep it hung up on, like, a little rack. And it's just, like, it's safe from cat hair and whatnot that would get on it and get, like, stuck to it, which is not poggers. But yeah, that's the signed hat, and I think it's really cool. But anyway, so I saw him on tour. That was really fun. And I feel like seeing Dan on Twitch and whatnot, that really made me want to stream. And I kind of like the idea of streaming, like, just clicking a button and, you get to talk with people and they're like, hey, what's up? Poggers, because, that's Twitch lingo and whatnot. And, I started streaming back in, when did I start streaming, actually? I think it was around November of 2019. That's when I started streaming. My first stream was so boring. I didn't even have, like, a good overlay. I literally downloaded one of the basic Stream Elements overlays, and it wasn't even basic. It was literally a Fortnite llama overlay, and it looked... Okay, it didn't look that bad. It just did not... It wasn't, like... It wasn't good. I'll say that much. I didn't really like it that much, but I needed something, to start streaming with. So I used that, and I got, like, 1 viewer. And then my next stream... I don't actually remember what I did for my next stream. I think that was my voice reveal stream, which I thought was like, oh, it's so cool and stuff, But it really wasn't. It really wasn't that cool. I mean, most people start out usually by doing, like, their mic and stuff when they stream. I just wanted to be all cool and quirky and do a voice reveal when I had, like, 2 followers. Anyway. So I've been doing that ever since, and I really like streaming. Streaming is really fun to me. I really like streaming, and I get to talk to a bunch of people, and it's kind of easier to talk to people when you're streaming than it is like in real life, which I know is stupid, but like I have a lot of anxiety, and I get a lot of anxiety when I, even when I Discord call people, like not as much when I'm texting people, but when I Discord call people, that's a whole nother situation. But it's basically like a one-way call. It's my voice on one end, and then it's just text, and it's like anxiety go bye-bye, and then like the only time my anxiety starts really, occurring and whatnot is when people are like, oh, you suck, and I'm just like, ha, thanks, I know, but like my heart just starts racing, and it's like I don't want to be treated badly and whatnot. But let's be honest here, I'm not that good of a streamer, and I know that. So like I guess it like ever since I started streaming, those comments don't really hurt me that much anymore because I know it's true. But anyway, let's get the self-doubt out of here. Let's get it out of here. We gotta throw it in the hoop. Basketball. You guys know basketball, right? You go bang, and then you shoot the ball, and then it goes in the hoop. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I don't play sports. I'm not a sports guy. The only sports I really play are like Wii Sports. The best sports, in my mind, are Wii Sports. And you can't deny me of that fact, because Wii Sports are the best thing to exist in terms of sports. Anyway, what were we even talking about? We were talking about people that motivated me, right? Okay, you want to know, like, somebody, like, it wasn't even a somebody, it was Nintendo Minute, now that I think about it. I don't know if you all know Nintendo Minute. Nintendo Minute is like a Nintendo show, I guess, starring Kit and Krista, and they're like really cool, and they play all these cool games, and they unbox the Wii U with the Zelda stuff on it, and like I don't know why, but that really like made me want to start making content. Like I wanted to unbox stuff online. I wanted to unbox the consoles. I wanted to play, the Marios with people and stuff. And I would watch, I kid you not, I would watch that on my Wii U, and not even on the YouTube app on the Wii U. I would watch that, like I would watch those videos from the eShop. Like the literal eShop, not YouTube, the eShop, because they would upload the videos on the eShop for some reason. I never really understood that, but they did it anyway. Actually, speaking of videos on the eShop, I remember, like, before I had a Wii U, I had a 3DS, and I would just, like, constantly rewatch, like, the Wii U, like, system tour or whatever it was, where it was, like, showing the stylus touching the screen and stuff. I would watch that on loop because I thought the Wii U was really cool, and then nowadays it's just, like, it's an console. I still really like the Wii U. I've, had some wonderful memories on the Wii U. But let's be honest, the Switch is a way better console. But I like the gimmick with the Wii U, right? Is the gamepad. I really like the gamepad. I know a lot of people hated the gamepad. I really like the gamepad. I hate the battery life on the thing, but the gamepad was just so fun to me. I really like the gamepad. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm getting off track. So Nintendo Minute was like I loved watching their videos on the eShop, and I really liked their personalities. I guess I found them funny. I don't know if I would find them necessarily funny nowadays. I don't really watch them that much anymore. I accidentally touched a button. I can't even speak now. I accidentally touched a button on my desk. I need a drink. I've been talking too long. But so those were like, people that inspired me, I guess. Now I don't know if there's necessarily anybody else that inspired me. I guess just like gameplay channels just in general, not even just DanTDM or Jacksepticeye or even Nintendo Minute, like just the gameplay channels in general inspired me, because I wanted to play games on the internet. I wanted to put commentary over it and be funny and stuff, and I hope that I can do that. I hope I can add funny commentary to my terrible gameplay, which is still yet to happen, but hopefully it'll happen someday. But yeah, so there's that. Now I don't think there's anybody else, honestly, that not motivated, that inspired me. Like, there's maybe like some people here and there, but like it was like a little inspiration. And I really can't think of anybody else besides like DanTDM. DanTDM was like up here, like literally up here. You can't even see that. He was all the way up here, okay? That's how inspired like I was from him. But yeah, that's basically that. Now let me think of a topic that we can talk about. I guess we can just talk about like generally like content creation for me in general. I talked about, streaming and stuff. I really like streaming. Now, in terms of, like, DanTDM was a YouTube person before he was a Twitch person, right? And, obviously with YouTube, you have to edit, you have to, pre-record, like, your audio and stuff, and your webcam footage, or your camera footage if you're super cool and you have a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. But, I mean, I've had to do that, too, with my YouTube videos. I really like editing. I feel like it's like super satisfying when you're able to, when you envision something in your head when you're playing a game and you put that into action with your video. I think that's like, it's such a good feeling when that happens. I really like that feeling. And so that happens to me sometimes, and I like it just it feels good to pull off something right, I guess. And like you feel proud after you finish rendering the video and uploading it and then making the thumbnail. Actually, speaking of thumbnails, I feel like thumbnails are like the hardest part for me when it comes. I'm sorry, I'm like running out of breath. I'm just talking like without stopping. But when it comes to thumbnails, those are probably the hardest part. So I don't know why, but the hardest part to me when it comes to making a YouTube video is the thumbnail, because like I'm really bad at it. And it's just like I don't know why. I take the photo and then I crop it out. Like that's the worst part, I think, is me having to crop it out, because I crop it out really badly and you can see like my background in the crop. Like even with my Twitch emotes that I made like a few months ago, like you can see through my hair, like here, like this area right here, you can see that because I didn't crop it out because I'm an idiot. And I'm really not that good with GIMP because I don't have Photoshop, but like GIMP is like the next, like an alternative. And I actually really like GIMP. I've never used Photoshop and whatnot, but I like GIMP and I think it's, a good program. And speaking of programs, I use DaVinci Resolve to edit, and that's just like, whoa, that's some professional equipment right there. But I really like Resolve. I think it's like super helpful when it comes to making videos. And like I finally, after like I don't know, I think a year at this point, after a year of using the program, I finally figured out how to use keyframes. I don't know how it took me so long, but I also figured out how to do like motion tracking. So I think when I get a better webcam, I'm gonna try using that because I think I could be wrong, but I think it wouldn't work super well with this camera because of the frame rate, especially when I like, as you can see here, when I switch to exposure mode, like you can't even see like my hand half the time, but that's like fine here. But once I get a better webcam, I think I'm gonna try that because I want to do like this, and then it like tracks. I think that would be a pretty poggers edit, I'll be honest. But yeah, there's that. Also, I'm really sorry this podcast episode isn't like any good topics and whatnot. But I've kind of wanted to make a podcast for a while. I didn't want to do like this on a live stream. Actually, speaking of which, I think from now on, if this does become like a thing, I want to be a reoccurrence every week. I think I'm either gonna start live streaming it, or I'm going to start broadcasting it on Discord, like while I'm recording and stuff, because I think that would be like a fun thing to do, and people could like listen to the podcast like live and whatnot. But yeah, I wanted to make a podcast for a while, and I finally had the ability to make like a what's its face branding. I made branding this evening, so you can see it. I think I'm gonna put it either here or I'm gonna put it here, wherever it is. You should be able to see it there, and I would appreciate some feedback on that. I think it looks like okay, if that like I think it looks fairly good for what it is. Obviously it could look better. Like a lot of things could look better. But I think it looks pretty good for what it is. But anyway, I'm sorry, like I said, for this not being like a super topical episode. I want to start making like, more, like I want to bring in more topics, like topical topics, like not like politics and whatnot, but we gotta bring more like topics into this. We gotta bring more interest into the podcast. Anyway, I'm rambling. I hope you all enjoyed this first episode of hopefully many. You're probably either listening to this on Spotify or YouTube, and I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know somewhere. Like you can tweet me, or you can leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube or on Spotify. I don't think Spotify has comments. But if you're watching on Spotify, you can tweet me. You can DM me on Twitter. I think I have my DMs turned on. You can pop into my live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/IamAirHair. You can catch me on YouTube if you're not already watching on YouTube, which is youtube.com. Wait, no, I don't have a URL. Just search IamAirHair like everywhere, and you should be able to find me. But yeah, so thank you all so much for watching this first episode of the AirHair Talks About Stuff podcast, and I will talk to you all later. Bye bye.